So bad translate. I guess actually just going back to the V card thing, that's just awesome. I think it can help a lot of people, and I don't know. I think that's a good starting point for people who haven't ever used them before and need help setting them up. So,
Hmm.
but
It looks like they want me to get bit update
yeah,
in
that's
order to run it.
Ashbit's mini little updater thing that he made. I was potentially going to use that for SC settings, but I ended up using Update Kit because it's, I think, the best version.
Would you stop autocomplete? Ugh. I call it auto incorrect.
I heard a thing a little while ago, and I tried this, and I think it's gotten better. But so if you disable the swipe functionality on your iPhone, supposedly the autocorrect gets better.
Yeah, it uses a whole different thing if you've got swipe enabled. I use swipe for so much, and I'm so much faster with the swipe dictionary though. As long as I don't say anything that's like within 100 miles of politically incorrect. Like it, like my God, the things that won't let you say, like you can't swipe the word murder. Yeah, it's so weird. And there's a bunch of things
Funny.
that there's certain like politically incorrect stuff that if you try to type it, it will try to autocorrect it to something else, but you can
Yeah.
override it. But with the swipe thing, like there's certain stuff that you just cannot get it to type at all. Okay, so we go through here. All right, sure. All right, had to exit out of bit updater, and then I was in bad translate. So now we are in translate. So excuse me, how mundane is your breakfast cereal?
That's a weird question.
And let's see, what is this going to do?
I think what it does is it runs, from what I can see, it runs the thing through a bunch of different times, and so then the translate function kind of just goes farther and farther from what it was gonna say.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know. I
you
had an
just keep
error with
going back
my.
and forth in between like Russian and English and Japanese and
Yeah,
Hindu and
yeah.
event, it's like a game of telephone basically. Excuse me,
Excuse me, house.
how normal is your flake? Very good.
That's pretty good.
I like this. This is cool. This is basically a way of changing what you've written in a way that takes advantage of like weird miscommunications and cognates between languages and overlap between phrasal verbs and all these fun
That's
differences.
so awesome.
I'm a little bit curious about the huge number of permissions that I had to give it. Would you like to
Yeah.
save this abomination? Yes.
I would
Like,
say this is definitely a creative shortcut and fun.
like I don't get why did I have to approve what was it doing? Creating contacts for me?
It's probably because of the V cards. I think it because it like anytime you have to share shortcuts thinks that you're creating contacts or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah, that could be it. That's the only place
yeah.
where contacts would seem to come into play here, is that V cards are basically contacts. Interesting. That is cool. That is a very creative shortcut, Ashbit. That is awesome. Man, like, and how many iterations does it go up to? Oh, you can just set it yourself. Wow. So hopefully you don't have to give it more permissions approvals the higher number of iterations that you go. That's so
I don't
cool
think
though.
you
Like
do.
the
I
longer
tried
the
40. Yeah, I tried 40 and it didn't do a bunch of them.
okay, that's really fun. What a great shortcut for like when you're out at the bar or something.
Yeah, that's a funny one. I just love the creativity, and it just took like, I just really appreciate the mind behind that and the thinking. Like it's just like how can I make something just super ludicrous?
Well, yeah, this is
There's a lot of
something.
fun to be had.
It was years ago that I first came across this as like a fun pastime, but it was
Right.
copy pasting it back and forth in Google Translate to see it get worse and worse. The idea
Okay.
of the idea of automating it is just hilarious.
Right.
It's so beautifully unnecessary.
Yeah, I
And
love
I
it.
like that it's using Google Translate and not like ChatGPT or something. That's very cool. It just uses the built-in translator.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's just Apple's translate, right? I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's just Apple Translate. And then
Yeah.
the logic that's in here, because it's a rather large shortcut. The logic here is just to keep track of all the languages that it's going back and forth in between. And so it keeps on looping over and studying the old language, and then based on the old language, it switches it to some new language, and it's set up so that it just churns the thing back and forth.
That is so great.
And yeah,
It
I can
reminds
imagine
me
like
of,
no one's going to know what you're talking about when you say how normal is your flake.
I love it. That reminds me of, so my boss is Indian, and whenever he's talking to another Indian person in Hindi, they speak in Hindi, but they call it Hinglish because they'll say like a sentence in Hindi, but then they'll say a couple of English words because it's just so much easier to just say the English word than, you know, 10 different nuanced words in Hindi. He basically was saying like to speak true Hindi is really difficult. And so like most people, I think even in India, like they like English is kind of their actual language.
Yeah, like a lot of words that they use day to day nowadays are just borrowed words from English anyhow.
Yeah.
And like there's no colloquial English way to say what those things are that doesn't take a mouthful. And so it's easier just to call it, an electric car or something like that.
Yeah. So in the chat, .dev found something a while ago or something like that. He says that so from GUI or GUI, whatever, Rambo on Mastodon says, I think I found a Konami code of sorts in the Apple Translate app. So for the first language, select English. For the second language, Chinese Mandarin or Chinese something. And then you enter hot avocado platypus and then see what it translates to. So we should do that one for fun.
Hot avocado platypus. All right. You can see the shortcut keeps on blinking. It's like
Is
the
that
iCloud syncing is just kind of losing its mind. I'm not sure here.
is it still trying to run your 40 iterations?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, but it's still going. And usually that blink indicates that there's a change and it blinks to let you know that it's synced to the server. Let's try
Oh,
this guy again.
I've actually never seen one.
Here we go.
Um,
It's going to be hot avocado platypus. Uh, 20 iterations. Oh, would you stop asking me, what does always really mean? Sometimes I
nobody
ask
knows.
myself
Nobody
the
knows.
12th or 15th time I press always allow, and I'm like, maybe I don't know what always means.
Yeah, all words are made up. At least Thor says so.
We're
So
going.
while we're waiting for this, I'm gonna throw out a PSA for everybody. Um, I read this morning that the app Bartender for Mac OS was secretly, oh my God, a ton of butter sifting.
Hot avocado platypus.
That's nice. Anyway, finishing my
Wow.
PSA real quick. Everybody should go uninstall Bartender if they have it installed because it was secretly purchased by some shady company. I encourage everybody to go look it up and install some alternative. Ice is another alternative that's free and open source. So anyway, yeah, for an app that has like screen recording capabilities, the company that bought it is just seems shady, and yeah, I'm
That
literally
sucks. I love Bartender.
me
I
too.
have
It's
it on
so
all my
great.
machines.
It's so great. And I have it through SetApp. Yeah, it's great. But Ice is fine. I mean, it's not nearly as feature rich, but it's open source, it's free, and it does the basic functionality of it. So yeah, I haven't installed it yet, but I plan on it. So